Hello and welcome to Wee Willy Wonderful's lion mane tutorial. And by now you will have made most of your lion, and this tutorial will just run through how to do the mane. The mane is generally around 5 centimetres long for each strand. So the easiest way to create the strands for the mane is have a little bit of cardboard, which I've done this one at 7 centimetres high, and we're going to wrap the wool around so that each strand will be around 14 centimetres. This will be a little bit too long, but then once we have finished putting the mane on Lion's head, we'll then trim it to make it a little bit tidier. So I'm going to start by wrapping this around. It's much easier than trying to do each strand separately. So we'll start the yarn here at the bottom because we'll cut the bottom edge, and then I'm just going to wrap the wool around, try not to wrap it too tightly so that it starts bending. Just try and keep it straight. You can use anything for this purpose. You can use an item that's a similar width. Don't try and do it too big. If you do it too big, you might find that you're a little short on the wool if you do all the strands a lot longer. But this works around about right, so 7 centimetres high. For everyone who likes working in inches, 7 centimetres is 2 3/4 inches. So we're just going to wrap it round and round. We can do several lots of hair, so we'll just do so many for now, and then we'll just make more in a few minutes when we run out. We do need quite a few. This will take a little bit of time doing the mane, but the effect it has at the end, it's worth it. If you get a little bit bored doing things like I do, if I'm doing the same thing over and over again, what I tend to do is maybe do a bit of the mane, then I might stitch other parts. So you might leave the arms and legs to be stitched on, so you could just do the mane in sections a little bit at a time. So once I've wrapped it around quite a few times, I'm just going to cut right through at the bottom, and all that's leaving us with is lots of pieces already cut to around 14 centimetres long. So we're going to pop them to one side, a little pile, and then we're going to grab our crochet hook, and I'll show you where we're going to start. Now you can see where we change colour on the lion's head. So the back of his head is all orange. If we'd have done it in yellow, we may have found that you could see the yellow through the mane, which doesn't look quite as effective. So this just makes sure that it all looks orange when you look at his head. We're going to do our first round of attaching the mane on the first yellow row in front of the orange back of the head, so just here. The ears, it's better to place the ears before you do the mane, otherwise you might find you're trying to sew the ears on top of pieces of mane, which won't work very well. So the ears need to be sewn, as you can see how far apart they are, and they're sewn the front right up to the front of the orange, so they're right on that line, you can see. So we're going to do a full round right the way around his head in more or less every stitch. You can do it in every other stitch to see how it goes. We're going to do it in every stitch. We won't be doing that throughout the whole head. It's just for the front effect, so that we have a nice edge and border around it. And then when we're doing the mane on the back, we're just going to do random sections and fill it as much as you feel you want it filling. So we are going to pop our wool through. Now I'm trying to remember which way round I actually do it to make the stitch neat on the front, so you have to bear with me. Let me just test it. Let's have a look. I'll just check that I do it right before I show you. That's it, brilliant. So we start with the back of his head, and then we're going to put our hook through a stitch like that through one of the rounds. So we're going to go from the back of his head to the front with our hook, get one strand of mane, try and pull it through around the middle. If you do it too far at one end, you'll end up with lots of long and short pieces that don't match. So we're just going to pop that over the hook, pull it through the stitch, and I just have to wiggle it through so we have a loop. And then all I'm going to do is put those 2 threads through that loop, like that. Make sure they both come through, not just one, and then pull it tight. And then from the front, as you see, we'll have it attached, like so. And it looks quite neat because you have a stitch there like that. So we're just going to carry on doing that in virtually every stitch along. So I'll show you again, I'll try and get close up. So we're going to put our hook in from back to front through one round, try and keep it on the same row all the way around so it looks neat. It doesn't matter so much on the back of the head, but the front round looks nice and neat all the way around. So we're going to put the thread over around the middle, get it hooked on our hook, pull it through to leave a nice good size loop so that you can get it through easily. Put both strands through and then pull it tight. Do pull it quite tight because we don't want it working loose. So now I'm going to do the next one. So working around every stitch, or maybe every other stitch. It doesn't have to be completely exact. I'm going to pop it through and then pull it tight. And so this is the look from the front. You can see that we have a strand of mane in more or less each stitch along that row. So do try and keep to the same row all the way around. And what we're going to do is go all the way around. If you find that your row ends here like mine does, so you can't really go at that, you just literally come around the bottom, around the base, so around the bottom row all the way around, and then up along this side and all the way around. So we're just going to do a full circle of pieces all the way around, and then I will join you after that row, and then we'll show you the next step. So come back soon. Thank you. Welcome back to Wee Willie Wonderfuls. We're carrying on with our lion mane. I just thought I'd show you how we continue on here. So if you're wondering what we do when we get to the bottom, you're still going to work your hook this way around. So it goes from the back to the front. So we work the same angle all the way around. So you're always having your crochet hook here and the handle of the hook here and the hook there. So you're always pulling them the same way all the way around in a circle. So I'm just going to do the last one here, and that just means that the little loop that you see here, the knot part, is the same all the way around. I'm just going to do the last one, and I've lost my end. Let's do that again. So we're going to pop it in through that way, pull it through and pull it tight. So now you will be left with a lion looking at like he's not having the best of hair days, but you can see we've gone all the way around in every single loop. Have a look all the way around. If you see any gaps, anything that looks like a prominent gap, pop another one in. So you can see we've gone all the way around the edge. So we've got a full circle around here. You won't be looking too impressive at the moment, so, but don't worry, we'll look much better when we finish. So turn him around, and now we're just going to start doing the mane at random. If you prefer to work in a pattern, you can do, but I just find it's best perhaps miss a row, start on the next row, and then put some yarn in maybe every couple of stitches. If you do it in too much of a neat pattern, it may look a little bit odd. I think it's much better to do it at random. Gives them a better effect. So you can make his mane as thin or as thick as you like. I do tend to include extra wool in, so that if you like a nice thick mane, then you can do that. So I've put a couple there, and then I might put one in the gap here. Literally with this, you just keep on going until it's filled in. Try not to split the wool when you pull it through. Try and straighten it out so it's not splitting. So I've done 2 here, 1 there, so I'll probably do another one just there. To pull it through, so we're just keeping it the same way all the time, so we're working from the back to the front. Just keep it like that, and then I'm just going to do one couple of rows in here. We're not going to put any mane on his ears, we're just going to work around the back of his ears. And then we're just going to keep on filling it in and filling it in. And we're going to do this all over the back of the head on the orange. And we're just going to keep going until we're happy with his mane. So you can see here, I've been adding them in at random on different rows, maybe here, here, here. Don't do it just in absolutely every single round. Just keep on going, doing the whole back of his head as much as possible. Maybe do a row around the base here, and then literally just fill it all in, working however you want. And so I'm going to continue doing some more mane, and then I'll come back to you when the mane is nearly complete. So I'll see you soon. Welcome back to Wee Willy Wonderfuls. We've continued with the mane, and I'm going to show you what he's looking like. It looks a little bit untidy at the moment, so I've gone through and done random pieces of mane all over his head, right the way to the bottom. And then what I generally do is have a good look through his head, just looking for bald patches, because you sometimes go through and find a big section hidden in the middle that you've missed. So if there is, then just fill it in with a few more strands. But once you're happy that it's pretty filled in, that you can't really see a lot of his head, it's all quite filled in. Now you will notice it does look quite untidy. His hair's a little bit dishevelled, so we're going to give it a trim. And we're going to try and trim everything to about the same length, about 5 centimetres. It is easier if you get a little pair of scissors and also a little tray or something just to pop all the bits in, otherwise it will end up everywhere. And then all I'm going to do is like that, so I can actually see the lengths, and then just pop around and trim it and do all the edges first, and just trying to get it to a similar length. You may decide that you quite like it dishevelled and you'd rather just leave it as it is, which is fine. I do like to make sure he looks a little bit more presentable. The king of the jungle after all. We don't want him looking a big mess. So I'm literally just going to trim it all the way around, going around the front first. Sometimes easier if you hang him upside down like that and you can literally see all the ones that are not the same length. Oops. Like that, so we're getting it all very similar. And probably just going to cut the long ones off. If I don't have to cut all of them, just cut the long ones so they match the shorter ones. And on the back of his head, we'll do the same. Look, we can just see there's so many that are longer than the others, so I'm just going to trim those down. Don't worry about getting it perfect, and don't get your ruler out. You're best off just doing it by eye, what looks right, rather than trying to measure, etc. So we'll take a look at him from the back. I think he needs a little bit of a trim there, just to tidy up the parts that you can see. Oops, like that, look. You can see it's looking a little bit more level at the back. We'll just clip off any ones that appear quite a lot longer. Like so. And just give him a shake. Cut off any longer ones again until we're quite happy with him. A little trip to the hairdressers. Oops. I've got wool everywhere. Right, so now we can see his mane a little bit better. Look at that. He does look like the king of the jungle now. And from the back we can see his mane. Look at that, quite ferocious. So we can keep on tidying, or once you're happy, then we're done. For the end of his tail, literally you're going to do exactly the same thing as you did with his mane. Just covering the orange section of his tail, not the yellow part. So we'll start around the orange edge, fill a few in, and then just do them at random again, and then just trim them off so that they're all about the same length. And there he is. So there is our lion, and now he's just about finished. Any queries, though, do get in touch. I'm more than happy to help with anyone who's not quite sure of something on the pattern, or if you just can't get something right and you want a little bit more help, then do just ask me. You can get in touch with either the Facebook page or at weewoollywonderfuls@outlook.com, and I will see you again with our next tutorial. So goodbye for now from Wee Woolly Wonderfuls. Goodbye.